Let's talk about strikes. We've had a summer of strikes and it looks like a winter of them to come. In the Times, page 9, the Labour Party. Who can, who can't strike?
Yeah, I mean, the Labour Party's in a bit of a pickle over the issue of MPs, its members of the shadow cabinet going on picket lines. So Sam Tarry, who was a shadow transport minister, he was basically removed from the shadow cabinet because he turned up on a picket line, whereas Lisa Nandy, who's another member of the shadow front bench, she appeared on a picket line and wasn't disciplined for it. So I think probably because she's a much more senior, important figure to the Labour Party than Sam Tarry was. But Labour, on the one hand, it wants to be seen as a party still of the working class and as sympathetic to workers who are going out on strike, but it doesn't want to upset commuters by having its shadow cabinet members on picket lines.
They've lost their way on this, haven't they, the Labour Party? What do they stand for?
I think in some ways they're kind of fighting the last war on this. I don't think the public see trade unions as a threat that they may have seen them as in the 1970s or even in 2015 when Ed Miliband was leader of the Labour Party and they, again, got in difficulties over whether to support strikes or not. I think Keir Starmer seems quite a hesitant politician. I'm not sure if it's wise to have shadow cabinet ministers appearing on picket lines, but I think there is a case for the Labour Party to actually stand with the unions and support the union and support their workers, the unions' workers, in their demands for pay that at least gets close to matching inflation, because many workers are struggling.
James, there's a terrible irony that just screams out, and the clue's in the title: the Labour Party. You know, and yet you've got to be standing with workers, surely.
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult for Labour because they also have to be seen as sympathetic to commuters, for example, who will have their lives disrupted because of strikes. But at the same time, I do think when workers in some of these industries are making, in my view, legitimate demands in terms of their strikes, I think it's perfectly the Labour Party should actually take a firm stance, because sometimes it can be more unpopular to just put forward this kind of wishy-washy position. I mean, Jeremy Corbyn, not someone I was a big fan of, he did pick up support because you absolutely knew what he stood for. There was no confusion over that.